I think we're doing great. We're making strides where we need to defensively. I think, especially the last couple of days in practice, we've been very aggressive and getting after it with one another. So that's going to help us. We talked about it at the end of practice today, having carryover into our next game.
I saw like a major body transformation from you last season. This season, you come in, you look like you work out more. Is it cool to sort of change a little bit of who you have been as a player?
Yeah, it gives me something to work on each summer, bring a different aspect into each season, and see how I fare with feeling differently, and honestly feel better. And strength-wise, feel just as good, if not better, than last year, but lighter on my feet and stuff like that.
Looks like you're in this shooting routine with De'Aaron every single practice. Any reason you decided to participate in that this
year? Yeah, because he tried to take over my court after. Now we're just shooting together right now. It just seemed to work out that way, and never mind it, so it's fun.
How do you get part of the book club? Harrison said he has not gotten an invitation yet. I'm interested.
We're still working on it. Okay. We haven't figured out all the details of it yet, but hopefully by the time the first game comes around, we'll have everything figured out and we'll be able to roll it out then.
Going back to shooting, I think you guys have a combined 95 threes that you put up in these first preseason games. How do you feel about the high volume in addition to, do you still feel like the vast majority of them are really good looks?
Yeah, I think we have a lot of great shooters on our team, even in the second unit as a whole. I think 4 or 5 guys that can shoot the three. Of course, the starting unit, we have a lot of guys that can shoot the three, so that's something that Coach puts an emphasis on. He wants us to get a lot of threes up, and especially if we're open, we have good enough shooters that we need, and we trust them to shoot the ball. So I think it's going to be something that's going to be, continuing during the season.
Has he given you a target number or a target range of amount of threes he wants in a game specifically?
Not yet, but I'm sure once season gets closer, we'll talk about that as a team, and he'll let us know what we're looking for out there.
What's your message for the fans this season? They've been so supportive of you. They continue to support you. What can they expect?
They can expect a team that's going to come out and play hard. We're going to bring it from the jump. We still have that feeling of that playoff, that run last year, and I'm sure they have it as well. So we're trying to bring that back to the city and make a consistent feeling for everybody.
Trey, you get the Warriors so early, even in preseason. Yeah. Obviously, it's probably premeditated that way, but how curious are you to see some of those tests along the way as you kind of begin this new journey?
It's a good test, to start the season off with good teams like the Lakers, like the Warriors, Utah as well, and seeing them. I think we've seen them 3 times in the course of a week and a half. So it's really gonna see if we're ready for that almost like playoff type run again. Just seeing them so often. It's gonna be a good challenge for us to see an older, more experienced team early on in the season and really get after it.
How are you feeling too?
About how the offense has changed a little bit from last year. What's the biggest difference in your mind, and how much of an adjustment is that?
I think for me personally, it's a little easy to adjust to. Don't really have to do too much more. I think once we get more practice in with it, guys will be able to develop and conform to it and know what we got to do and know where we have to be. But it's a lot of the same principles as our old offense, so I think we'll be all right.
Trey, what's the difference between coming in the training camp last year compared to this one?
I think guys were more prepared. Mike being his first year last year, we honestly didn't know. I think some guys were a little caught off guard by how intense and how physical and stuff it was, but this year I think guys were ready for it. Guys knew what we were coming into, so I think as a whole we did a lot better as far as transitioning into this camp.
How are you adjusting to playing with Jaleel?
It's different, I'm not used to having a 7 whatever this guy behind me, so it helps out a lot defensively, I think, for the unit as a whole. And offensively, like everybody, we're still conforming to our new offense. So, it's nice to have a veteran leader like that, a guy that's been on these championship teams and knows what it takes and stuff like that. So I think it's good for everybody.
What happened yesterday? Was everything cool when we went down?
Oh yeah, I'm good. I just got hit on the screen, so I'm all right.
Okay.
What were we talking with Mike about at the end of practice?
We were just going over defensive schemes and what he wants us to do, and just making sure that we're all on the same page. And especially for the second unit, I think that we need to be very together, and on the same page, because that's a big key for our team is our second unit. So we have to make sure that we're a fist together out there on the court, because we don't have a lot of leadway. So we have to make sure that we're doing the right things.
With so many guys back from last year, is it a surprise or a concern at all that maybe you haven't had a better rhythm the first couple of games of the preseason?
No, not at all, because we added 2 new guys to the key rotation, and we added a new offense, like you said. So it's going to take a little bit for us to get really comfortable with that, but I don't see it affecting us in the long run.
Last one, Brandon.
What have you thought of your minutes next to Sasha and when you guys are out there as a 3-4?
I think it's great. You know, Sasha can shoot the ball, I can shoot the ball, so I think it would be really tough for defenses to be able to guard those shooters and say Malik and Fox and Domas or JaVale or Davion. It's like we got 3-4 shooters on the court, so it makes it tough running defense for guys like Fox to be able to get downhill, Davion to get downhill when you got the court spread with shooters like that.
What about defensively?
Defensively, you know, it's going to be an adjustment for him, but he's done well so far. Coach has got on him a couple of times, but that's all right. He's responded and he's done better in practice and stuff the last couple of days, so I think he's be fine.
Thanks, guys.
Hey, thanks.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.
Hey, Michael, I noticed. Where are you guys at as far as building chemistry and do you think it's coming along as a side off?
I think every day at training camp, we're building that chemistry more and more. These first 2 losses have been good because we're really pushing each other in practice. You know?
I see you with 16 rebounds in this game, but how much do you need everyone else to start chipping in a little bit on the glass?
You know, it's a team effort at the end of the day. Like if they're boxing out their guys and vice versa, I do my job. They can grab the long one, you know. And we're playing a team on Sunday, the Warriors, where most of their rebounds are out, you know. So that's going to be a good test to see if we're really locked in on boxing out at everyone's own man.
How's the physicality been, do you think?
Big, tough. We just got to do it against our opponents. You know, Fox mentioned it today. Like we're going hard, we're hitting each other, but we got to do it on the other teams.
You get the Warriors so many.
The playoffs give you more confidence for this season.
You know, just we know we're a playoff team. We know how good we are. We felt like we could have gone further last year, and we know that coming in. You know, and now we just got to put the work to get there, which is going to be a lot harder than last year.
You get so many looks at the Warriors early on, be it preseason, regular season. Is there curiosity among you guys how you kind of stack up against them again?
I don't know who makes those schedules.
Yeah.
All of our preseason games, we play against everybody the first 5-10 games. So, I mean, it's nice always to like come out first game and kind of shock an opponent when you know, on a couple plays and stuff. But at the same time, they're getting that too. So, I mean, it balances them.
Domas, given that you guys have so many guys coming back, is it concerning at all that like there's not a little better rhythm right now at this point?
No, actually, I think it's better because I mean, every day in practice, guys are getting on each other. You know, the coach is having to separate some of us, you know, and that's good. We have that confidence to really get on each other, you know, and I feel like that's where teams get better.
Mike's mentioned that he's changed some things up offensively, trying to do things. What's been different in this couple of games?
For sure, I mean, we're not running plays, and he took out one of our main things that work, you know. So obviously, there's a lot of guys maybe that aren't as happy, but this is why it's training camp. We gotta figure out, try new things out. You know, it's gonna be a long season. We're expecting ourselves to go far, so we need to have other options. So you know, I love what he's doing. You know, we just gotta buy into it and keep trying things out. You know, the other coaches, they know what's best, and if it doesn't work, they'll switch it back. But you know, it's good to be out there and try new things out.
Domas, you're obviously close to Chris Duarte. Obviously, he had a much better outing in that preseason game. How have you seen like him? You worked out with him in the offseason. Yeah. He was talking about that was the first kind of action he's had in 200 days or so. How do you see that progress from him?
He's good. You know, he's learning. He's paying attention. You know, the whole language thing he kind of struggles with, but the coaches are doing a great job of trying to explain it to him. And you know, he's slowly doing his job. You know, I told him don't think about offense, just think about defense and let the game come to you. You know, and I feel like he's been doing a great job.
Is he looking more like the guy you remember from Indiana?
Yeah, of course. You know, hopefully just to play a couple of games. You know, have a couple of good games, and he can show his personality.
What were you referring to that Mike took out? Were you talking about DOJ stuff?
No, just you know, some of our offensive flow that we get in. That you know, we do a lot. You know, it's one of our two options on offense. He didn't take out. He just switched it kind of. You know, and we're just getting used to it. You know, it's a new offense. It definitely works. We got a bunch of great looks out of it. Out of the first two games, you know, we just need everyone to believe in it and you know, keep trying to build from there.
Domantas, it seems like Sasha is always in the right spot when you hit him in the corner on the wing. you're getting used to playing with him on the squad, right?
Yeah, he's a very, very smart player. You know, he knows exactly where to position himself. He's there early, so he doesn't have to exceed any extra strength. You know, so he knows exactly how to play this game.
So he's getting in that rhythm where he knows where you're going to be at too, right?
Oh yeah, you know, he adapts. You know, it's very easy playing with him. They threw him in the first unit, second unit, doesn't matter. You know, he's at the right spot all the time.
Are you confident you have enough like rebounding help on this team? You do so much, obviously, on the boards. How much do you want to see other guys kind of step up in that help?
You know, it's a team thing. You know, at the same time, we got to get stops to get these rebounds. You know, if the ball goes in, you can't get rebounds. So I'm happy that there's rebounding positions to get, because that means we're getting stops. You know, we just got to finish off the position.
How much are you enjoying the cutting that you guys have sort of added in? Because it really does play to your strength as a passer.
It's great. You know, as we've seen nowadays in the NBA, everyone's adding that. You know, it's really hard to guard that off-ball action. Guys are, you know, it's such a dominant, talented league where you got to help your defense, because the offense is so good. You know, but now if you have this off-ball cutting, you know, it's hard because you're so focused on that one player. So you're kind of forced to do multiple things. So it's definitely been working. A lot of teams are doing it now. So to me, I love it. You know, it helps my game. I get to do what I love to do at facility.
Can I just ask one question in Spanish?
Real quick.
Okay. ¿Qué necesitan hacer para llegar a los finales de esta temporada?
Tenemos que empezar con todas las cosas pequeñas. Y empezamos cuando empezó la pretemporada y tenemos que seguir haciendo eso durante toda la temporada.
Muchas gracias.
Thanks, Tomas. Appreciate you, man.
What did you ask me?
Huh? They expect finals this season.
Thank you so much, Jake. My arms don't reach.
No, you're show, man. Can you do me a favor?
Leticia Ordez from KCRA3 just asked him what, I guess everybody else who's Spanish speaking know what he was saying, but asking him about the finals. Thank you.
Got Trey sweat all over the wall there. We're seeing some changes out here with just like who's wearing what jerseys and stuff. Is that just part of the process of training camp of trying different groups together, or are you planning on some changes, or what do you got there?
Yeah, I said last game, I threw Sasha in the starting lineup. Take a look at him. Duarte will start tomorrow in Kevin's spot. It's just normal for me, at least, trying to experiment and take a different look at different guys with different lineups.
How's Keegan?
Keegan's been good. You know, what I like about Keegan is defensively, you could tell he's worked on his strength. He's got a better feel for what he needs to do on that end of the floor, and you know, he doesn't get knocked off his spots like he did last year as easily. So I like that improvement offensively. You know, he's starting to show that he can do a little bit more than just catch and shoot, which we encourage him to do.
Not the hand though, but you're good.
Oh.
Thank you for that, but I appreciate it.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Okay.
I mean, he got it. It's like, I mean, you get your finger jammed or whatever, and it gets hit again, it's going to bother you. And so I think he might have had tape today.
You're going to become real familiar with the Warriors early on in this season, preseason as well. Is there much you can take from this preseason before you go into those regular season matchups, and what's the curiosity there?
You know, right now, like the Warriors are in a different place than us, and same with some of the other teams. Like, we're really worried about ourselves, and you know, we've only put in so much offensively. We're really trying to concentrate on the defense end of the floor, because we know that was our Achilles heel last year. And so, I mean, it's great to play those guys just because they play so different and give you different looks offensively. But I mean, we're going to try to continue to do what we do to get better and not think a ton about them. And I know we're going to play them 4 or 5 times this month, but whether we're playing the Warriors or the Clippers or the Nets, our process would still be the same.
Mike, speaking to that defensive focus, is there any risk at all to that taking away at all from the offensive rhythm or success of that side of the ball? Are those two pretty separated in that sense?
No, I think there's risk in everything. I mean, we had the #1 offense in the history of the game last year, and you know, obviously we have talented offensive guys. It is what it is, and you know, that's a lot of their strengths. But in the same breath, you know, in my opinion, and I've been a part of 6 NBA finals, something like that, 3 different teams. in my opinion, you got to be able to defend. And so in order to have, in my opinion, again, a shot at winning it, which is what we're playing for, sometimes you got to mix some things up. Sometimes you got to roll the dice on things and take a chance here. Maybe you might lose a little here, but hopefully you gain a lot here or there. And so change can impact you in a lot of different ways, and hopefully it's good when you make the change. But I'm not one to just sit back and say, hey, our offense is great, let's just keep playing that way and don't worry too much about defense because we're going to outscore somebody. Because at the end of the day, it's going to be hard to duplicate what we did offensively. You know, it's like going from a good team to a great team. When you only have this far to go and you're in the upper echelon, it's hard. Offensively, I mean, we were here. And to even go here or to keep it there, ooh, it's going to be harder, you know. But defensively, we were here. So we got a lot of room to grow. So let's try to do what we can to take advantage of it, growing at it, while maybe losing a little offensively. And if we do, I still think we'll be a really, really good team.
You mentioned Chris in there for Kevin. I'm curious, you had kind of the same lineup the whole year last year.
Yeah.
What do you need to see out of Kevin? Like, what do you want to see out of him this year? Maybe stay in that starting lineup.
Well, not just Kevin, but everybody. You know, one of the things that we really are emphasizing is our physicality. And, you know, I explained to you guys a couple of times, hey, when you come across and help out with our help defense, you got to take a hit in the chest, which means you got to go vertical, or you got to take a charge. On the ball in pick and roll situations, you got to get up into that ball and you got to get over the screen at the same time, because what we are doing as a group, and not just Kevin, there's a few of our guys that are doing this. We're staying here. We hear the command, so we're sending the ball to the screen, which is where the help is. But then, as the screen's coming, we're not getting into the ball to skinny up and get over the top. We're chasing the ball, and now that ball's turning downhill. And now you got Domas there, and you have our other defenders trying to play 5-on-4 against a team that's, most teams are really long or really athletic, and it makes it tough. So I have to put more pressure on our guards to help us better in the pick and roll, so we don't face that pressure getting downhill, and now teams are getting spray threes and lobs at the rim, and us ending up being 30th in the NBA in pick and roll defense.
I imagine you had a conversation with Kevin about that. How do you take that he's going to come off the bench for just the next game?
He was fine. Yeah. And I didn't have I didn't have a conversation just with Kevin. It's the whole team that needs to do that, because there are other guys, in my opinion, that need to get better with the physicality of the game of basketball, especially on the defensive end, for us to take steps.
What do you like about the idea of Duarte at the 2, and is that something you would consider doing in the regular season as well?
I'll consider anything, you know, anything that I think will help us. And I said this before, sometimes when you take risk or you do things differently, it can backfire and blood can be on your face. And I'll be the first one to say that it was my decision, because every decision I make will be to, in my opinion, will be to help this team be better. And so with Duarte, what he did in the last game, he did exactly the things that I'm asking. If you go back and you watch the tape, anytime he was involved in a pick and roll on the ball, he got up, he spun him over, and he went over the top with the ball handler. He was involved in a DHO with what we call a hot guy, a guy that can shoot it. He got into his body and he rode him over the DHO, and he had his deflector hand there and almost got a steal. Transition, defense, I think it was Christian Wood, tried to post him up, boom, he hit him, stood him up, and then he got in front and got a steal because they tried to throw it in late. You know, his ability to chase. You know, the guy doesn't have the ball, the pin down comes, gets into his body and gets over the top with that guy, and now you don't get anything because he's coming over the top with you. And so those aspects defensively, when it comes to being physical defensively, he did very, very well. He did it at a high level, and that's what we're going to expect from all of our guys throughout the course of the year.
How much having his relationship with Domas kind of plays into this, get him acclimated, get him rolling early in the season, let him have some time to play?
Well, you know, it's funny, and that's the kind of reason why I started Sasha in the last game, because Sasha plays really well off the ball. It passes and cuts and moves and all that other stuff, and you know, so to be able to throw him out there with Domas to see what it looks like, to be able to throw Duarte out there with Domas to see what it looks like, because they're two new guys and they haven't really had a chance to do that. is something that I'm going to look at as well.
Have your offensive and defensive statements changed at all coming into this year?
No. The one that we're emphasizing more defensively is being physical without fouling. And I'm okay. You know, if we foul too much, I'm gonna be upset. But I'd rather us foul too much trying to be physical, and then tell the guys work on the guys scaling back, than to not be physical and not have anybody feel us with the fouling situation.
So Coach, the answer might be on Duarte, but who on the team so far in camp has surprised you with how they perform?
You know, I think everybody with how hard they've played, you know, and how much they're trying to pick up what we're trying to do. You know, Duarte has played well. Sasha has played well. You know, two of the new guys. You know, Domas has played well. Foxy's played well, and so, you know, it's not to a point to where I'm like, oh my gosh, these guys are better. No, I expect Domas, I expect Foxy to get better every year, because I think Foxy's on the right track to reaching his ceiling. And the great part about it, he's got a lot of room. So it's not necessarily this guy has surprised me and that guy surprised me, because these guys have been working all summer. And I've been watching them throughout the course of the summer. And what I'm seeing now is some of their work paying off.
Mike, you said early in camp that you were changing some things offensively a little bit, somewhat in response to what happened in the Warriors series. Domas kind of mentioned it earlier. What is changing, and how are they adjusting to those changes?
They're adjusting good. Now, the tough part about it is we as a staff put them in a box, and we're trying to make them read what we want to do offensively quicker and better and with more space. And it's a little neutral. The thing that we changed, it's out of our early flow, and basically we averaged running that 4 times a game last year. So it's not a huge change, you know. And it's the initial look is similar. It's just more free flowing and more space, and the ability to cut harder and/or somebody bumps you or takes it away, to be able to counter with a cut another direction because of the spacing. So that's probably the biggest thing that has changed. But it's a huge change to the guys, because right now that's all we're basically letting play out. You know? So they have to run it half the time, because the other thing that we do during games, we did it all of last year, and it's the same exact thing. So that's what's a little new. We did this thing 4 times a game, 3.8 I think to be exact. Now we're asking them to do it 30 times a game, you know, and so it is something a little new that they got to get used to, but they're getting better at it as we go along. What's that called? Okay, Steve. It's called either 4 or 5. Are you paying this dude? This dude right here? It's 4 or 5. Okay. So it's our 5. Our 5 has changed a little bit from last year. Okay.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you, man.
I wasn't asking.
Secret sauce, man. Secret sauce.
Season's over.
Hey. Are we gonna get some Twitter people going after him now?
Oh, they already did.
I'm sorry.
I thought Bulgaria was going to get paid.
Oh, yeah, I know.
They're coming.
Greece.
They're going to team up.
I told Rose, I said, because she really wants to go to the island in Greece. I said, I don't have a chance. We can't go anymore.
You can't even go to Daphne.
No more.
You got Jason on the Warriors travel list, by the way.
Oh!
Highest bidder. I'll go ask him questions.
Fair enough.
Thanks, guys.
See you tomorrow, Mike.
All right, guys.
Thanks, guys. No shoot around tomorrow. No shoot around. Yeah, see you tomorrow.
See you later.
Yeah.